Welcome everybody. So tonight is a bit different. Tonight's not going to be my typical I'm up here and I'm going to play video games, we're going to talk trash and have fun, etc., etc. Yeah, tonight's not about fun, right? So thank you, Breezy. Um Tonight isn't about fun. Tonight's about mothers. And it's about me. I feel like people like this is like in many ways it's a, of course this is my introduction, right? Uh, so hmm, mothers don't get enough credit tonight. So happy Mother's Day, everybody. All right, so I don't think mothers get enough credit. Right? Let me just throw that out there. I know it's like, wait, what? They have songs after mothers, etc. I thank every single person who is a mother out there. I You make the world go round with your love and what you mean to people. So thank you for existing. Okay, so before I get that out the way, um, just want before I get anything else out the way, I just wanted to say that. So I just wanted to say that. So this is my introduction. I haven't done an introduction yet, right? So I haven't done an introduction yet. Uh, I've just made videos and I feel as though like I haven't properly gone on the internet outside of people who know me and in real life. Uh, and I think a lot of the people who watch me are people who I know in real life. So that's why I find it funny. It's like the people that usually watch me are probably IRL, um, which is hilarious. And they go anonymous and that's fine. And that's cool. But I think this is like my introduction to like the internet. Like I introduced myself and I've talked on Twitter for a while. And if you know me in real life, I'm on Facebook. But I'm on other stuff. So people just know me as like a guy who's like a really big Mets fan who like, who loves family above all else. I'm a person who believes and hard work, right? I believe in hard work, dedication. I think it's important that when you do something 100%. And if you don't do it 100%, then you're wasting your own potential. And I say that because if you have a spark, I'm not telling people who don't have a spark. I'm talking if you have a spark. It is your obligation as a person who is alive to to go for that spark, whatever that spark is. Because saying to yourself, man, like, I wish I did. I'm 42 years old. I'm not like an old man, but like I was raised by an old man. So we'll get there tonight. Um, we will. So, I'm just a firm believer in these things, right? I have a set of morals that I believe in. I'm not perfect before I even go on. I am not perfect. There is nothing perfect about me. I am as imperfect as you're going to be. But I can tell you this. I have tried my best to be as good as a good as better as good a version of myself as I possibly can. See tonight you see me like most of my videos. I'm wearing my PJs. I throw a hat on, represent my Mets usually, or whatever team that I'm sporting. Have my hoodie on because that's what I do at night, you know. Um, but I hop on and I talk to people on the internet, and I play video games at night. I love that. That's something I do, you know. Um, I'm a firm believer, like I'm a firm believer in that there isn't anything that you do in your life that's doesn't follow you later, right? And a lot of people say bad thing. They usually attribute that to like bad things, right? If you do something bad, it's gonna catch up to you and the karma or whatever you want to call it, right? Um, but I'm talking like good things too, right? Like like good things that you do follow you later, or just things that you remember from your past. Tonight, there in the future, you're gonna see like an outline and a whole thing, right? How I'm gonna. This is just me, just talking about me, introducing myself. Oh, by the way, my name is Alvin Cecil Cologne, and I'm on the internet as many different things, right? So you get like if you go to if you go to Facebook, it's my full name, right? If you go on Twitter, it's BirdKICKer Bing. Um, and so on and so forth. Everything else is pretty much BirdKICKer, right? Like I try to be BirdKICKer now, moving forward. Some of it is BirdKICKer Co. because there's someone else who has BirdKICKer, which is pretty funny. Um, but so I had to put so we had to put Co when we originally did this. So um, I don't know how long tonight's gonna go. We'll see. We're gonna go on a we're gonna go on a journey, and this journey is just a conversation with you. Anyone who's watching, anyone who's still here, thank you. If you're seeing this later on in life, what's going on? You know, um, but I wanted to just like put all this out here because I wanted to talk about who I am and what this channel is all about, right? What this represents. And I wanted to just go into all of that along with my life, and I wanted to give you just the whole thing, right? You like just we're gonna do the whole thing tonight. But one of the things that we're going to do besides doing the whole thing, we're gonna talk about me. Today's Mother's Day. Again, happy Mother's Day, everybody. So we're not defined by our past. And I think that's something that I want to go out there. If I come off preachy, please forgive me. Like I'm just living through it and I'm dealing with it, and I'm speaking to something that I've been through. I'm speaking through things that I did. I'm not saying that I'm better than anyone. I'm not saying that I did it the right way because if you could have obviously did everything a lot better. You know, like you can always think like I could if I did this, I could have been this better, this much more. Or if I did this, I would be further along in life. Or if I, but if we did this, then we'd be further lower in life. Like it sucks to think that way, right? We're not supposed to think that way. Life happens. This is one trip. That is it. We only do this one time. Um, so it's important and essential that you know, we just live in the moment and stop thinking about the what ifs. But it sucks that we do it sometimes. So, but I always said, I did pretty decent, um, and that's why I wanted to talk about it. So it all started when I was a kid. I grew up, and I need to go. I need to go a little bit further back. This was before I was born. So this is going to be very real, y'all. So I'm going to be really real, but I am going to be very protective of other people. Okay. I'm not going to go further down, or I'm not going to incriminate myself either if something in life happens to somebody. I'm just, I want to make sure that, like, for real, like, I want to be, the purpose of this is to be completely respectful. This ain't about me yelling at nobody. This ain't me about me talking about and, like this person did this to me. It isn't like it is not like that. My Discord is going crazy. Hold on, I'm turning this thing off. Hold on, close in Discord. All right, I don't know why it was open. Anyway, so before what? Really? Come on, Discord. Quit Discord. All right, should be good. Okay, so before before I was born, my mom and my dad they got together, and there was me, and because of that, you know, they tried to make it work, but they just realized they were two different people. So my father and my mother they just were two different people, and it really wasn't going to work out between them. That's the cold reality, by the way. Just, and this all happened before I was actually born. So out comes little Alvin. I was supposed to be born in Puerto Rico. Um, my grandfather. So it's about my heritage, I guess, where I come from. So my father is Puerto Rican. Is Puerto Rican going to be my dad? My father is Mr. Puerto Rico, Mr. Puerto Rico, right? Um, I'll say his name because it's not bad. His name is Francisco. So my father's name is Francisco. My mother's name is Bernadine, and I wanted to put that out there before we go any further. Francisco and Bernadine, they realized it wasn't going to work. Or my father actually really wanted to make it work. My mom was like, "Yo, this ain't gonna work between us." My mom was a very firm woman. She was a very pause. She was a very she was a pillar of strength, if you will. She's one of those people. She's from my grandfather. Um, and my grandmother. So my grandmother, her name, my I was very close with my. I wouldn't. I appreciate that. Bill is a friend IRL. So I was probably born in Puerto Rico, and my mom was very young, so she was gonna try to raise me. I know my aunt Ann was there with her. My mom, my I grew up mostly with my maternal side than my paternal side, and that was by design. This is me being real. It's not my mom's fault. Like I'm just keeping it real. It's my mom's fault. So, but I was very close with my maternal grandparents, and people who know me know this. So my grandfather called my mother and says, "Nah, man, I'm raising him." So my name was supposed to be Tyrone. My name should be Tyrone. FYI, if it wasn't for Alvin Paul, my name would be Tyrone Cologne. Dead serious. So my mother was gonna have me in Puerto Rico. My grandfather said, "Yo, just bring them on. Listen. You're gonna need help. So listen, I'll, I'll retire." My grandfather had the heart of gold. Um, mm, mm. Okay. So he's like, "Listen, you gonna bring him to Connecticut, and we're gonna raise him. I'm gonna raise him on one condition. I want him named this." And so Alvin Cecil Cologne was born. And my mom tried doing it by herself at first, but she couldn't do it. And my grandfather was like, "Yo," because mom wanted to try to do it on her own, but my grandfather was like, "Yo, you gonna mess this up. I ain't having you mess this up. I'm gonna take care of this, like 100%." And again, that's me being real. I'm not trying to be. I'm not. I love my mom. I love my mom. I love my mom, but my grandfather was like, "Yo, mm." My grandfather is from St. Croix, and so that would make me incredibly Caribbean. That's what I am, incredibly Caribbean. That's again, my father just Puerto Rican, boom, right? My grandmother's Puerto Rican. My grandfather's West Indian, and I was raised mostly by him. It was like face to face parent, and man, my grandfather was the coolest motherfucker in the world. Now, when he was younger, my grandfather was a Hellcat when he was younger. So this is again me being honest. I'm not trying to hate. My grandfather was crazy when he was younger. He may have killed a few people. I'm just keeping it real. Like I'm not trying to make. I'm not trying to like, but I think my granddaddy was like some sort of gangster back in the day. And I'm not trying to BS. And I'm not saying nothing crazy. But my grandfather, he has a history. My grandfather's real name, I won't say out loud, but it's longer than the name he told me it was, right? So I'm gonna keep it at that. But my grandfather came, he came. My grandfather's very light skinned. My grandfather is like, in his family, he's the lightest skinned person in his family. He was very light. And that came, I believe that came from his mother's side because his grandfather was Sister Semple. His name is my. I'm saying the stuff out loud. I don't need to say. But my grandfather's mother's father was white, or he was Portuguese. We don't. I mean, I guess he was Portuguese. I know that a lot of our family is very. We came from like the Portuguese slave trade. My aunt Anne has a whole book dedicated to um, our family. And shout out to my aunt. Happy birthday to my auntie Ann. And today, she actually just texted me. I'm going to see her text real quick because I wished her thank you, love you too. So today is not only Mother's Day, but it's my auntie Ann's birthday, which is pretty hilarious. So anyway, she has a whole book about like my grandfather's side of the family, like her side of the family, like everything, and it's crazy. It's amazing. And yeah. So anyway, my family's been through some shit on my grandfather's side. That's all you need to know. Um, my grandfather had a heart of gold. Like when he got older, when he came over, he tried to just do good, right? Like my granddaddy was, because he knew he could. My grandfather knew he could fit into different places. If I'm not going to go there, but my grandfather was very light skinned. Think about it. Like I'm just keeping it real. My grandfather actually has good hair too, which is interesting, to say the least, because when he was younger, he clearly did not have good hair. Like I have old pictures of my grandfather when he was younger. Um, it's like when he came like into the United States, like his skin like went like super like lighter, um, which is interesting. My grandfather, most of my friends who met my grandfather, they could see like he's older, so he's like any sort of melanin in his skin is gone for the most part, just because he didn't like go out for like 20 years, so he was very pale at some time, but he was perfectly fine. But again, he was pale. Um, that's just how my grandfather was. But you could see like older videos and pictures, and you're like, okay. Anyway, he was like, yo, I'm raising this dude. So my grandfather was very much, he raised me. I'm not gonna get into any two other things. Like my mom got like married again. She actually, because my mom and my father married for like a second, right? Didn't last, but like she actually got married to this one gentleman, and it didn't end well. So what I will tell you is it ended. I'll tell you where the marriage ended. So my mom, right? She took me. Uh, my grandfather was probably in Vice City. I'm just keeping it real. My grandfather may have been in Vice City. Um, my grandfather was probably one of the head, one of the head dudes in the. Like my grand, you know what my grandfather is? I feel like my grandfather is like Thanos, right? Like he went like this, and then one day he went and he sat and he was like, I'm done. Like that's it. Okay, I'm retired. Anything that happened beforehand don't matter. I Thanos slapped it. Like Thanos snapped it. Like and then like he became this like caring, a wonderful human being. Like, like my grandfather is the greatest human being I've ever known. Period. Um and I'm not fucking my grandfather is the greatest human being ever. Like him and Jesus doing battle. Now, I'm not talking about like my grandfather when he was younger because, he had like multiple wives, 17 kids. So his whole shit, My grandfather was my grandfather lived a life, okay? My grandfather when he met my grandmother, he could not speak Spanish and she could not speak English, and I think she was wife number four, or three, I forget. I think it's four. Um, no, it's three. It's three because my grandmother was the last one. Anyway, three. And like I'm here, like what the fuck? My grandfather's the ultimate pimp. Like no lie. Like I love my granddaddy. I talk about my grandfather like he had so many cool mannerisms, and I'll get into all the things that he said and all the funny things that my grandfather instilled in me. Like my personality 100% comes from my grandfather. Everything you see of me is like the cool part about me. Like it's my grandfather. The non-cool part about me, just me being dumb and me being lame. Um, but whatever comes out of my grandfather is like a really decent and cheap imitation, right? So anyway, um, that's how the way I talk is how my grandfather talked. It's just my grandfather had, more of a St. Thomas, St. Kitts, accent. So your room, your rumor is your father's 100%. My humor is yes. Oh my god. Oh my god. All that shit is my grandfather, yo. Oh my god. My humor is 100% my granddaddy. My granddaddy just talk shit, so I just talk shit too. My shit is 100% my granddaddy. Um, but yeah, bro. So like this is what this is. So he took me. Grandmother was like, cool, we'll raise them like how we raised them. So the eldest and my mother's part, right, of my grandparents. So the oldest brother, right. My mom had two brothers. Has two brothers. They're still alive. Uh, the first part was my uncle Tony, and the second was my uncle Rudy, and my mother was the baby. So um, my mother and my uncles they were raised in the Bronx, and it became evident that they wanted to move up here. Oh, actually, I'm in Florida, um, to New England. They wanted to move like away from the city, right? They didn't want to be in New York City no more. So they were like, okay, where's a place we can go? So they decided to go to Waterbury, Connecticut, the Brass City, right? The Brass City was awesome. My grandfather worked here. Um, he worked there. Again, he worked at Fletcher for many, many years. My grandfather would walk to work. My grandfather notoriously could not drive, FYI. Apparently, when he was younger, he could, but at some point, that man stopped driving. That man did not drive at all. My grandmother drive all the time. My grandmother was a fucking awesome driver, by the way. Yo, dead serious. Like my grandmother never got into a car accident, and she didn't drive like an old lady. She like was a really good driver. The opposite of me, right? My mom, like, sorry, I'm a shitty driver, but like I do what I got to do to get to where the fuck I got to get to. Um, I do what I got to do. But my grandmother was an awesome driver. Uh, yeah. So so anyway, they moved to Waterbury, Connecticut. My grandfather was working at Fletcher. My grandmother was working, I forget where. I can't think of it off the top of my head. And they were here for a long time. They were on South Main Street in Waterbury, Connecticut, and they finished raising their kids there. It's where they live. That building is still there. That house is still there, which is so weird. Because apparently when I was born, before they moved to where I'm not going to say the name. I'll just say it's on Greystone Road in Waterbury. I won't say what number house, but they moved from South Main to to the Bucks Hill section of Waterbury, Connecticut, baby. Um, man, North End, baby. Wilby, let's go. Oh man, dude. So I grew up in the Bucks Hill section of Waterbury for the most part. Man, I love that area. I love Waterbury, Connecticut. I always tell people, man, like Waterbury, Connecticut is the center of the universe. I swear to God, you go somewhere, I'll go anywhere. I'll go anywhere, and I'll find somebody who was from Waterbury. I'm like, "Oof." And you're like, oh, it's just in Florida. Nah, everywhere I go, I see somebody from Waterbury. It's like we're the center of the universe. Like, what is going on here? Like, it's crazy. So Waterbury is like a small hood, it's a city, but the Bucks Hill section is nice. I grew up in a home with my grandparents for the most part. There was many times when I left there and went somewhere else, but for the most part, I lived there growing up. That was my home growing up on Greystone Road. I love that home. That home is still there, and I used to have dreams about that home. I don't anymore. I think ever since I bought my own house, I don't like I don't have like crazy. I used to always have crazy dreams about that home. Um, and not for bad purposes, but it was just like I would just like I dream about it. Like I every time I go back to Waterbury, I drive to that house. I just look at it like, damn. And then I look down the street and I see my best friend Isaiah's house. So it's like, yeah, it's cool, you know, it's really cool. So I had growing up was cool. I can't lie. Like people be like, oh, I had like the shittiest childhood and I da 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 and da da da. Yo, I didn't have a bad childhood because I'll be real with you. Like I have met some really awesome friends along the way. Like at the end of the day, no matter what the fuck, how shitty anything is, if you're with some good friends, who gives a fuck? Like you're just having a good time. Like friendship, having good friendship is the shit. Like it really is. Like whenever I see people who don't like have any friendships and they're like all alone and shit, like that shit makes me sad, right? Like yo, you don't have like homies? Like, bro, like you almost feel like damn, like and part of you is kind of like I wonder why that motherfucker ain't got no homies. You know, like part of you is like, yo, I don't know, man. Like this dude might be crazy. 9 times out of 10, they was, especially in Waterbury. You got a lot of crazy motherfuckers where I live. They got crackheads. They got the whole thing, right? Like, right? It's it's the whole shit. We have the whole shit. Um, Waterbury, but I don't know what it is about Waterbury, but Waterbury like is always gonna be in my heart. Always, 1000%. If I never live there again, I'll always tell people I'm from there. So I'll never be one of these people who currently live in Florida. I ain't gonna be one of the people who are like, oh, you've been in. Like, if I stay here and I live a long life, hopefully, I would I would probably would have lived longer here in the state of Florida than I in Connecticut, which would be really weird. It would be a super weird feeling because like I spent the first 31 years, right, living in Connecticut. It's crazy. I've been, God, wait, hold on. Damn, damn, damn. I'm not at 10 years being here, but I'm like close to almost 10 years living here in Florida. Damn, I've really been gone for like in 1 month, I'll be gone like for 9 years. Damn. It's crazy that I don't live in Connecticut. Anyway, again, this is this type of conversation we're gonna have. I'm just gonna go off. This is like I should call this shit Alvin Unleashed because it's like I don't give a fuck. I'm just gonna talk. And plus, honestly, what I'm trying to do, and this is something about me, I'm trying to make jokes regarding stuff that I'm probably trying to not cry about. Just being real. But nah, I had some really dope friends growing up. Not gonna lie. Shout out to hold on. Damn, damn. I don't even know if I want to shout out people because if I don't, if I forget somebody, somebody's gonna feel some type of way. Like, if this shit goes somewhere, because it's like, yo, I was talking about all his friends growing up. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Such and such wasn't mentioned. And I'll be like, damn, it's not even that serious, bro. Like, for real. I'll be like, damn. Uh, I'm going to try to do the best shout out that I can. Okay. Shout out to Bucks Hill Elementary, right? Shout out to Northland Middle School, right? Shout out to Wilby High School. Oh man, outside of that, right? So that's just I'm just covering school. Like anybody I knew from school. Shout out to all them people. 1000%. I love the motherfuckers I went to school with. If I would go, if we have another, yo, if we had we a couple years ago we had a get to we had a like a 25, 20 something year like reunion. And it was like the best night of my life, bro. Like that's one of the best nights of my life. Yo, you dead ass like top 10. No, top 5 best nights of my life was that night. That was fucking awesome. Oh my god. Fucking shout out to Wilby. Anyway, outside of that, I want to also give shout outs to I'm trying to get the gambit. Any of my friendships that I've made with from when my mom growing up. So that goes out to Jody Brown, right? Yeah, that goes out to Seth Brown. That goes out to the Browns, 1000%. Anyone connected to my mom, Joyce, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God, I can't think of her name. Rebecca, Becky and her son Demetrio. Um, like, shout out to all them people. Shout out to all them people. 1000%. Shout out to all them. Shout out to anyone I may have missed, right? Shout out to my family. Shout out to my cousins Brian, Jonathan, my uncle Rudy, my uncle Tony. Shout out to my cousin Kawasi, my aunt Ann. Shout out to all my cousins. I cannot mention all of them, but I will say shout out to my favorite cousin, my favorite two. I'll say this: the cousin who I can't say my favorite cousin because I don't have a favorite cousin, even though I tell her she's my favorite cousin all the time. When I really think about it, I'm like, she represents what my mom like. If my mom was here and did really well with her life, my cousin Denise. That's one of the reasons why I'm here in Florida. Being real, I don't even have to be like in the same vicinity as Denise. I just need to know she's like I can get to her at any time because she has her life. I have my life. Like but we're close. It's not that we're not close. Like my daughter, she sleeps over her house. Like, we're family. Like we do holidays together. Like we're close, but we're not every day because it's like, we got our lives, she got, they got their lives. So shout out to Denise's whole family. So like Lewis, baby boy, Lanice, there, that's like, yes, those are all cousins. And yes, I don't, hold on a second. Oh, please. My bad. The weirdest thing, yo, I have to have, yo, Bill, I gotta do it. Yo, it's like if I'm gonna do it, I gotta do it today. Like there's no, like I guess it was destined for me to do it today. You feel me? Like it feels like today was. I'm like, oh, of course it's today. Of course. Oh, fuck. Why? Anyway, but you know what's crazy? I have lizards who straight up like crawl and like ring my doorbell. Like I'm just like, oh my god, what the heck? Who's at the like? It's either someone's at the door for like one of my neighbors. Like it's almost 11 o'clock, or like, it's a lizard again. It's always a lizard. Anyway, I seen it on my freaking camera. So yeah, shout out to them because they're like family. They're like the extension of my immediate family. They really are. So I do want to mention them. I want to shout out my boys. So before I get there, any one of my friends who I was really close with, and so like the Sybil sisters, shout out to y'all. Like I was very close with y'all for a long period of time. I was even like, yo, I feel so bad, bro. Like I'm somebody's godfather, and I did not, I never like, and this is me fucking up. So I mean, again, this ain't even about like me doing good. Me fucking up is on here too. I have a goddaughter and a godson who I was not involved in their lives at all, and I don't know why I fell out with y'all. So I love y'all. I don't know why. Um, I could tell you probably I know why, but I guess I'll get there later. We'll get there. We'll get there. So I think I think that's cool. Before I start going into other stuff, I want to also give a shout out to Bev. I want to give a shout out to all the Civil sisters, by the way. I want to give a shout out to Rachel. I want to give a shout out to Juanita. Um, I want to give a shout out, man, people I've ever worked with. Like, I'm not gonna go too crazy because them motherfuckers ain't gonna probably see this shit. But like, shout out to all of y'all. I want to shout out my boys. Okay, so we go. Here we go. So at the top of the list, I'm putting Bill. Bill, I'm putting you there. The reason why I'm putting you there is because you're here. So shout out to Bill. All right. Shout out to my boy Craig. Shout out to my boy Isaiah. My boy Dave. My boy Ant. Jose. Shout out to man. Hold on. What else can I say? People who shout out to Kevin. Kevbot. Shout out to Kevbot. I can't even say that. I can't say my cousin Alex. Both my cousin Alexes, by the way. Um, the one who's by blood, the one who isn't blood. Shout out to Terrell. Shout out to my boy Kaz, even though we don't talk no more. Shout out to Vicky. I forgot about Vicky. And shout out to man. Who else am I missing? People? Like I know I'm missing people. I'm missing people. Listen, nobody get mad at me. Shout out to my boy Saul down here. Right, cool people. Shout out to Saul. Um, shout out to the other aunt. Right. Shout out to my best friend Ant too. But my boy Ant down here, who's a Pittsburgh guy, and shout out to my boy Ant, who I grew up with. So, um, shout out to people who don't talk to me no more. Like I said, shout out to Kaz. That's my boy. I don't care. You know, um, even though he may not want to talk to me no more, that's cool. But shout out to him. Um, Shout out to anybody else who I've interacted with in my life. For real. I want to just, growing up was a lot. It was a huge mix of me spending time with my cousins and me spending time with my friends. A lot of the times, um, shout out to Martin Jelinus. Ooh, shout out to my boy Martin Jelinus. Haven't talked to him in a long time, but he's one of those people who we're not really close like that no more. It is what it is, but I want to give him a shout out. You know, but when I see him, we still cool. We still cool, right? Oh, shout out to shout out to my cousin Vic. You said Vic Bot too. I'm over here thinking you said Vicky. Vic Bot. You know what it's saying? You know what is it? I did say my cousin Alexander Victorian. Shout out to Vic, man. That dude stayed in the apartment more longer than anybody. Like, I would go to church in the morning. I'm a church boy. I would go to church in the morning, and before I even get back to the crib, like Vic is just chilling. Like I'm like, what the? This dude got his feet up. My grandmother's feeding him like food. Like I'm just like, yo, what are you doing? He goes, yo, because we would always we'll get into that. We'll get into that. We'll get into that. We'll get into that. We'll get into the pay-per-views. We'll get into the football at the crib. We'll get into it. We'll get into all that. Man, shit was shit. I mean, growing up was cool though. It was a mix between such, right? And so let's get into some real shit because it is what it is. My mother was troubled. She was troubled, and a lot of the times, my mother, she would have things happen. I don't know if they were all self-inflicted. I don't know if this was a circumstance because she was very carefree and like I am older than my mother was when it happened. I am an older person than my mother got to be, in my opinion. And I'll get to that in my opinion part later. Um, damn, she was troubled. And I know that some family members ain't gonna want to hear this, but I'm sorry. I love my mother, but my mother was not a perfect woman, and you know this. It doesn't mean I don't love my mom the same way that anybody else loved than my mom. I'm not saying my mom was a drug addict. I'm not saying that. But I will say that my mother got in her own way a lot of the time because I do that too. Just saying. Um, but mine wasn't as destructive as hers. That's the difference. No disrespect to anyone. It's my mom, right? Like, I don't want anyone who sees this later on and say, damn, Alvin's really dogging his mom. I'm not dogging my mom because I'm going to get into the awesome stuff about my mom. Trust me. But I'm telling you a story. I'm telling you, I'm trying to bring you to a place where this is my story that I'm telling. But what I'm trying to do is I want to be respectful, like I said, to everyone. But I am going to be honest. I am. And it's not it's not my mom's fault. Like my mom wanted to be loved. And this is what I'm getting at. See, people are gonna be like, oh, I was really no, I'm talking about who the woman Bernadine Paul was. My mother had big emotions. And that was probably my favorite quality of my mom. She had very big emotions. She had a presence. She made sure every time she walked in the room, you knew she was there. Mostly because she had like clink 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 clink. She had like arm arm bracelets like crazy. She not a ton, but enough to she liked to have the bracelet, you know? It's not like it was like a bracelet covered all the way up here or anything like that. My mom just had bracelets. Like she would walk around with bracelets, so you would hear her come through. Um, my mom would she'd put rollers in her hair, 80s, 70s stuff. She had rollers in her hair, and she would go out. Mom was crazy. My mom didn't give a fuck, and I think I think that's probably my favorite quality from my mom is she did not give a fuck. She didn't. She didn't give a fuck. Like and everybody will tell you this. This is me not talking. Everybody's probably laughing. Who knows my mom? Who's watching this right now? They're probably like, yeah, Bernie didn't give a fuck. My mother's name is Bernie Paul. Before we get to what happened, we'll just keep moving along. My mother married a man, like I said, my mother married a man again, and it didn't work out, and it led to her destroying a Fiat on South Main Street with me being there. And I'm not saying she was drunk, but maybe she had a couple drinks in her. And I kind of told her what to do to destroy this dude's car. While I was like 5 years old, like I was like, "Yo, do this, do this, do this." My mama, my mom and I got arrested together. That happened to me. I was 5. I didn't do nothing. My mom got arrested for destroying dude's car. I was with her. Oh man, I was like 6 years old when that happened. Oh man, my mom, my mom did not give a fuck. If you betray my mother, all hell will break loose. Oh man. Um, but yeah, like that's pretty much that. Like let's be honest about this. So, anyways, we we go to the prison, right? And she's in the cell. I'm like watching cartoons or some shit. Like I'm watching like Thundercats or something. Like I'm just being real. It was like Ninja Turtles and shit. Watching like while my poor mom was in the cell. Like we were waiting for them to come bail her out. Uh, I was chilling though. Like I was propped up, chilling, all like whatever. They was mad nice to me. I was like, oh shit, cops are nice to me. Da 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 da. Little did I know that wasn't the case later on in life. At least the conversation started off nice. Um, but anyway, so we go, we get picked up by my grandparents anyway. I'm not going to go any further. Let's just say that that was a divorce or an annulment. I don't remember. There are certain things that I can't fill in the blanks for that if my memory isn't perfect. And if we were sitting around a bunch of family members, we would all get it together. We would all paint the puzzle best. But even though I'm the baby, I still like there's bits and pieces of stories that I don't have. And keep us in mind, I'm leaving out years of stuff, right? Like like again, my grandparents were still my two parents. They were my active parents, 100%. My mother didn't. I don't remember my mother ever making me a sandwich or food ever. I don't think my mom ever prepared me food. The person who always prepared my food was my grandmother. 100% growing up. She was the one. So that's why I always tell people like my mom's my mom, but my grandmother was really my mother because she was. And that's why I'm probably all fucked up in the head right now talking to y'all. Anyway, so you know, had a good childhood, did the things, hung out, did stupid stuff with friends, got in trouble, but like nothing too crazy. It was always a good vibe. Like we never, like I'll say this about my friends, like we stayed out of trouble. Like we got into trouble, but we kind of stayed out of trouble. Like we just, sometimes we go places we shouldn't be. You know what I'm saying? But like a lot of times we wasn't doing shit again we didn't need to do. You know what I'm saying? Like we were good kids. We had troubled parents. Not all of us. Isaiah comes from like the perfect family. For real. Not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but like, his parents got like I think every single one of their like double digit kids all have master's degrees or doctorates, and they're really high. They're very smart, like top of their class. Like that's the type of shit. That's the shit that Isaiah comes from. I don't know, Bill, if you knew that, but Isaiah comes from greatness, and if you're not, and if you don't show it, it's like, yo, what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he comes from greatness, yo. His parents are fucking two of the most amazing people I've ever met in my entire life, and I think their love is, and this is me being completely honest, I think their love is the love that I always try to aspire for. Seriously, I think it all came from them. And again, this is me being real here. Um, my grandparents, I had a good relationship, but like they had a good relationship. It wasn't perfect by my grandparents, but I know probably I know doubt. Like everybody's like, oh, you must have thought your grandparents. Yo, I saw my grandparents always argue though. Like you have no idea. Like my grandparents always was arguing over some bullshit. So like not that like it was like bad, but a lot of the time like, oh my God, what are y'all doing? I get up and they're both going at it, and they're both like, hot-headed Caribbean people, and I'm like, oh, I gotta break this up. Like, you know how many times I have to break them two up? Oh my God. Like my grandfather, the older my grandfather got, the louder my grandmother became. There was a time when my grandfather would be the loudest yelling person in the room, and I would tell him to stop. Stop it. You're way too loud. And I would tell it to my grandfather. I had the right to tell my grandfather these things. When I was younger, he might have smacked me in the mouth a couple times. But when I got older, and I'm not even talking like super older, I was like 10, 11. I would be like, I would tell him, you need to chill because you're a little too loud. I'm not saying, listen, y'all arguing about something stupid. Like I would tell my grandfather, like, yo, what are y'all arguing about? Like y'all arguing about the dumbest thing. Like you just want to be right. Y'all just argue to argue. Can you just not argue that loud? Like I get it. All old people are gonna argue all the time about shit. But my grandfather would get mad loud. I'm like, oh my God, shut up. He'd take My grandfather was like, this is the thing about my grandfather. If you betrayed my grandfather, or my grandfather felt like you betrayed him, he will hate your guts. And my grandfather stayed believing my grandmother was betraying him on some super shit. And I'm like, shut up. What are you talking about? I think in the later years, though, if I'm being honest, I think he was trying to understand something that he didn't know. And I think he saw something early that no one else saw. And that's where it becomes tough, right? Just my grandfather he was a learned man, but he wasn't like a learned man, He had a degree from UConn, but it wasn't like there were certain things with my grandfather that he didn't have this like he didn't not always. I mean, he got a little bit older, I guess he did, but I have like there's an discernment, like you have a discernment, like you can feel like a discernment. Like if you walk into a room and you're like, yeah, nobody wants me in here. Let me just walk out. Most like I have that discernment. Like I can see if my presence is wanted somewhere. And if I walk, and usually if I don't see them, if I go into a place, and I'm just being real with you, even today, if I go into a room that I'm not wanted, I walk out. I'm not trying to be in there. I'm not trying to be, hey guys, what's going on? Nah, I'm out. No, 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 no. I'm not. If I need to feel like, yo, like, you know, I want to be wanted here. Like, anyway, I have a discernment. I can spot a scumbag from a mile away. I could, you know what I'm saying? Like I have a discernment. Like I can see certain things, you know. Um, I can tell when a person's a good-hearted person. I can tell when a person's an NPC. No, like you know, you can tell. I have a discernment for people. This is why, like growing up, I became like all of my friends' psychiatrist, right? For a lot of them, for a lot of people in my life, I was their psychiatrist. Um, which is hilarious, right? Like, 'cause it bugged me out. Like, I walk over to somebody and I'm just like, yo, man, what's going on, bro? Like, what it is? Like, yo, man, like, I'm going through this, and I'm just like, damn, like, and I felt like that wasn't just a couple of people who did that. Like, everybody did that with me growing up. To this day, people do that shit with me. Like, they feel comfortable talking to me about shit, and I'm like, damn, I know so much shit that I may or may not need to know. Like, you know, in my lifetime, like from people fucking confessing like crimes to me. Nobody's a snitch. I'm nobody's snitch. I'm not snitching. But you get what I'm saying? Like, I know too much shit. I don't need to be knowing. I be trying to forget shit, and I'm like, damn, I still remember this shit. Um, but like, it's just funny to me, like, shout out to all my friends, by the way. Shout out to people who I didn't mention, by the way. GameStop 384. Oh no, yeah, 384. Shout out to that crew. Shout out to my boys from there. Shout out to the Brass Mill Center Mall. Oh man. Anyway, shout out to Angel. You know, shout out to all. Anyway, again, I'm probably gonna start throwing. I'm gonna keep throwing out shout outs this entire time. It's not my fault. I know a lot of motherfuckers. Um, it's not my fault. Oh man. Shout out to my cousin Lino. Yo, shout out to my cousin Leslie. May she rest in peace. To my cousin Diana. Diana. Shout out to my Titi Siksa who's still alive, man. Anyway, we'll get there too, but I just want to throw it out. Shout out to my cousin Lino, man. A lot you see this personality too, who I am. A lot of this comes from my cousin Lino too. Like it's like he molded me a lot. Like when I was a kid, when I was a little kid, hanging out with him, I learned a lot of shit. Like that dude, that motherfucker turned me into a man real fast. I'm just being real. That dude, that dude, yo, I am thankful to that motherfucker. To this day, I don't talk to him like that because he has his life, I have my life. It's all different. But when we see each other, it's like hugs and kisses, like because it's like, damn, I haven't seen you. You know, like, and I was hoping to see him when my grandmother passed. Anyway, I'll get to that. I'll get to that. So, but again, also shout out to my cousin Leslie in heaven, man. That of breast cancer. I can't believe she's gone. That's fucking crazy. That I am 42 years old, and my cousin Leslie is gone. Shout out to FYI. Shout out to my boy, and I'm gonna say his full name. Don't get mad at me. My full shout out to my boy, Wes DeSantis. Dr. DeSantis was good, bro. I love that guy. And I want to say another shout out to Gary from heaven, from to heaven, man. I can't believe I live in a world where Gary Gullich is gone. Still to this day, it's like Gary Gullich was like the best person I've ever met, too. Like I've met some really, really awesome people in my life, but like I remember when he passed and I found out that he died. I was literally going to have lunch with my boy Dave. Sorry, I was literally gonna go hang out with my boy Dave, and I get the phone call, and then I call Wes, And I say, please tell me this is not true. And he told me it is. And I remember sitting with Dave, and we just was just I was just like, wow. And I cried. Um, I remember going to my old church that I used to go to, where me and Gary would chill at. That was my boy, bro. Um, that was my dude. Like I would hug him. I give dap to a lot of people. I've never given Gary Gulch dap in my life. Every time I saw him, he received a hug, a full blown hug from me. I fucking love that guy. And he died on a motorcycle late night. I guess a drunk driver hit him, or somebody hit him in the wrong way, or something. And it's like he's gone. I'm like, wow. Oof. I could not go to his funeral. I am sorry, Gary. I couldn't do it. I was going through a tough time during that time, Gary. My wife and I were going through an almost divorce, and it was rough. Home life was not great. I'm not blaming wifey for nothing. It's just it was just not good. And I could not go because I was going through so much. I'm sorry I did not go to your funeral, Gary. Um, again, we keeping it real tonight, right? I'm just keeping it. This is like me keeping this as real as humanly possible. And I'm going to spiderweb a few times before this is all done. So yeah, Breezy, I'm gonna take trips, right? I'm gonna take trips. Um, I'm gonna take trips on this journey. Um, let's go back. I love my Uncle Larry. I'm talking about people who died too, which is crazy. I'm like going into this whole people who died. My Uncle Larry, no disrespect to my Uncle Rudy, is my favorite uncle. He he was a big, tall motherfucker. My Uncle Larry was a hero of mine. He fought in Vietnam. And I have all this shit over there. It's all over there. And I know my auntie, one of my aunt, well, my family's like pissed that I have all this shit. I got like everything. I give my aunt Jean, his widow, my aunt, a bunch of stuff. It's not like I haven't given her stuff. I've given her mad stuff, but I got so much shit. It's mine. That's what I'm gonna have. But it's funny because I feel like the only person who can keep this stuff safe is me. You know what I'm saying? But like when I ultimately think about it, who the fuck am I keeping them safe for? I don't expect Joy to carry all that legacy with her. I mean, she can if she wants, but I'm not gonna put that on her shoulders. Like, no, this is up to you. You know, you're the savior of your family. I'm not gonna do to her what was done to me. No, you're the one. Damn. These are things my grandfather said to me. Um, but my mom was troubled. Going back to that, trust me, I can keep I can keep where I'm going. I know where I'm going. I know where I can get to. I know where to grab. I know the end point to grab. Right? Give me that. Give me that. Like I can. I know how to do that when I'm telling a story. So, mm, I don't know what else I can talk about before I get to anything else because there's a lot of early life stuff. You know, I hung out with a lot of my mom's friends, and their families, and that was always great. You know, my mom has some really dope friends. You know, um, that's one thing I'll say. My mom has some pretty dope friends that like I would chill over their houses with. She would take me with them. She would take me over to their houses and sometimes go on vacations and all that stuff. Oh, by the way, I did summer camp mad time growing up. I'm a summer camp kid. Um, I did that a lot. Um, but anyway, but you know, I would go out on these trips and whatnot, and you know, I would go out and you know, we would just go like for like I forget how long. There were times that I remember going with my mom places for like weeks. We would just be gone, right? We'd be just fucking doing it, right? Doing like vacation, like or doing something. We were going to this one thing in one spot. Like we would just be gone. I'm not gonna get into details of them. They're all really cool, you know, like but nothing bad in any way, but like all cool, dope shit. Um, but like I met, you know, hung out with those kids. A lot of those were white kids, you know. Um, and like, what does that have to do with anything? It has a lot to do with everything because I would listen to like they're the reasons why I listen to like rock music because like a lot of that shit came from them. Like a lot of my rock music playing came from Seth. Like that shit came from Seth. You know, that came from Jody. That came from Seth and Jody Brown. You know, they put me on. That's family, bro. Oh, that's why. Hold on, more extensions of family, right? Shout out to my homie Amy and her sisters. Shout out to her parents, the Marinos. Shout out to them. Shout out to that family. That family was good to me. That family was good to me. That those were some good friends that I still have to this day, even though I don't talk to them often. I still shout out and when we talk a little bit, but that was a great friendship I had. Started off with me having a crush on Amy, but then like it evolved. It evolved. And I was like, nah, I don't look at Amy like that at all. Oh man. Um, but yeah, I had a like a pretty decent childhood, you know, like as far as fun is concerned. Um, like I got my ass whipped for mad shit, but you know, like I would never say that I was abused at home. You know, I caught ass whoopings because I fucking deserve them. Like I'm fucking listen. I got my ass kicked a lot when I was a fucking kid, but let me tell you something. If I raised me, I would have whooped my ass too. So shout out to grandpa, shout out to abuela, shout out to mom. You whooped my ass appropriately. Just you did it correctly. You understand? Like thank you for whooping my ass when I was a kid. And I know some people will be like, "Oh, you're not supposed to touch your kids, man." Thank you for whooping my ass, cause that shit worked. Granted, I'm still maybe a little bit of trauma. You know, it's not really trauma from the ass whooping. It's more from the hearing my grandmother say "Adeline" in the back of my ear every fucking minute of the day. That's why I can't do nothing wrong no more in my life because I hear her in the back of my fucking head every time I can't. I don't even think bad thoughts really anymore. Like I ain't trying to hear that shit no more. Um, man, I am an hour and 9 minutes in. I did not realize I was gonna do this for this long. Fuck it, we here. And if anybody wants to hear it, cool. If you don't want to hear it, fuck you. I don't know. Nah, just kidding. If you don't want to see it, fine, you know. But I do want to at least put all this out there because I feel like this should be out there at least one time, and that's it. I'll never have to do this again. Um, but yeah, I did love my mom. You know, I will tell you that like it became um like I almost wanted to save my mom. It turned into me wanting to save my mom. So I have a lot of family, and a lot of family. Again, all Caribbean family, like all sides, like my grandfather had a lot. So, like, it's interesting, and this is going to sound really weird, but I thought of my mother as my older sister in many ways. I know you're like, it's a really weird combination. I know she birthed me, but in many ways, it was like she was my older sister. And that's why I always felt like my Uncle Tony, my Uncle Rudy's little brother, you know. I like I always looked at myself as the final child my grandparents had. And that means a lot to me. That means a lot to me because the way that my grandparents acted with me was like how a parent would, but they were older, right? My grandfather, he retired to raise me, and my grandmother, she was still working until she eventually retired to finish raising me. I think she understood that there was a moment where this child needed a mother more than anything else. So she's going to be that for that child. Because his other mother, his actual mother, my mother wasn't a bad person by any means, but I don't think my mom knew how to be a mother. And my grandmother, though she tried, it was I thought it wasn't um, reciprocated. I think the person who my mother was just who the person who my mother was. So my grandmother became my mom for many reasons when I was growing up, and a lot of that came a lot of Catholicism. So I'm a fucking Catholic kid growing up, super duper Catholic. I did the whole Catholic thing. I was Catholic, 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 Catholic. Man, let me tell you something. Being raised by a Catholic Puerto Rican old woman, man, that shit was fucking crazy. But I also saw we also saw some really funny weird things in that world, which we'll get to in a second. Uh, St. Cecilia's Church, Cherry Street, Waterbury. I spent a lot of time in there. A lot of time. And that's where I got mostly into trouble. Most of the time, most of me getting into trouble was from there. I man, so I'm not gonna tell on myself too much, but what I will say is that I'm grateful for the times that I was there. I'm thankful for my faith that started my life. I started my life with. I'm thankful for that. My grandmother put that in me. I can read the rosary bead. I can do the whole thing. I did the whole thing, right? I got the baptism. I was circumcised, but when I was a kid, I'm telling you the whole thing, right? Like, yeah, why are you telling all that? I'm like, my daddy was like, yo, he's like, and this is the reality. My father said this. The doctor's a Jew. So can you make sure that he too, just so he's covered, just in case, so he can be like part of the chosen. You know what I'm saying? Like my father, like that was like my daddy had that conversation with the doctor. You know what I'm saying? He's like, listen, if that's it, then let it be that. Um, but like I was I was a Catholic boy. Baptism, communion, confirmation, the whole shit. Did the whole thing. I did the readings. I went to Steubenville. Anybody who's heard of Steubenville? I went to Steubenville, but I went to the Ohio one. I went to the one that was in Massachusetts. So I went to Steuby. Shout out to Oscar. Shout out to Juan. Shout out to Edwin. Shout out to Richard. Those are brothers. Those are brothers. Those are brothers, y'all. The Holy Infantry, along with my cousin Lino. Holy Infantry. Ah man, never forget that time in my life. That shit was fun. Um, damn, that shit was mad fun. That was a really dope time in my life. That's why I said no matter what I've been through in my life, like I have to say I had a pretty fucking cool childhood. And that's what, and I'm fortunate to say that. Like that shit ain't perfect by no means. The shit ain't, the shit like like I was like my grandpa. If I ever got into trouble, my grandparents would fucking let me have it, like into fear. Like I was in fear of my grandparents, my grandfather, my grandmother especially. I was in fear of my mom. I did some dumbass shit growing up. Let me tell you one thing I did. So there was a play or one of those dances or whatever ballet. I don't know. I went to one of those fucking things when I was really little. I'm talking like like 5 to 7 or 8. I don't know, man. But I was a little Alvin. I made so much noise in the back. I fucking made them fuck up on stage. Oh man. And the ass whooping I got that night was the ass whooping that I will never forget for the rest of my life. If I never remember any other time I caught an ass whooping, it'll be this. So my grandmother whooped my ass. My aunt whooped my ass. I got home, my granddaddy whooped my ass. And then to my mom, and then she proceeded to give me one hell of an ass whooping. Oh man, I used to love Transformers growing up. I still love Transformers, right? So I used to have one of those like tents you put on back in the day in the 80s. You could get like a tent and put over your bed and shit if you were a kid. That shit was like the coolest thing in the world. Like I got a tent for my fucking bed. Like it's fucking cool. I had one with the Transformers, and I thought it was the coolest shit in the world. My mom came home. She fucking took that shit, threw that shit off across the fucking room, and then proceeded to fucking pick me up and throw me across the room and fucking pat 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 pat. Like it was like Blade. She was like Blade with my ass. Like like she had the power of Wesley Snipes whooping my ass. Like pat 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 pat. Like the whole shit. I'm catching ass whooping here, right? And I remember before, but here's the thing that I don't remember the ass whooping. I remember the fear I had when I knew she was there. She was like coming into the house. Before she got to the house, I heard the car slam. I ran into my bed. I fucking zipped that motherfucker up. Like, oh shit. Make her pretend I was asleep. Like, and I remember I heard her say, "Where is he?" I was like, oh shit. I'm laying in bed like, oh my god, oh my god. And then she comes in and mollywops my ass. I remember getting thrown across the room. And that from that point on, I don't know. Maybe she knocked me out. I don't know what the fuck happened. I just know that that was the night of ass whoopings. Because everybody whooped my ass. My uncle Rudy almost whooped my ass too that night. Man, it was just like passing me around, whooping my ass. Like it was like the Ninja Turtles and shit. Like okay, Raphael, okay, okay, Donatello, okay, okay, Mikey, okay, okay, Leo, finish them off. And then like Master Splinter came with my ass too, and then Casey Jones came out of nowhere with my ass as well. And then I'm like, damn, okay, I'm done. And April O'Neil came at the very end and gave me the biggest ass whooping of them all time. That's what happened. Anyways, so that's kind of the best analogy I could give you. Like the best analogy I can give you. Cause my grandmother whooped my ass. I didn't like when my grandmother whooped my ass. Cause my grandmother like hurt. My mom just scared me more than anyone else. She whooped my ass, but like I can like my mom hit like a bitch. Like no, like if you're gonna have like a conversation about who could throw hands in the household, like my grandfather, his throwing hands days were like pretty much over, and I could tell my grandfather whipped my ass. Like he didn't want to whip my ass, but he's kind of like, I mean, there was a couple times where he whooped my ass with a belt, but that's because like you don't tell a man from Saint you don't tell a man from the U.S. Virgin Islands where he's from. You you just don't do that shit. You just don't do that shit. Shout out to my cousin Kawasi. I love my cousin Kawasi. He's my heart and soul. Um, he really is. I love you. Um, and you're the reason why I'm doing this. You told me to do this shit, and now look at me. I'm fucking doing this shit. So, um, but yeah, it's just ass whippings all day. I'm pretty sure my auntie and his mother whooped my ass too. Pretty sure that happened. But I love my Uncle Larry. Let me go back to Uncle Larry real quick. Like I said, we spidering, baby. When my Uncle Larry came from New York, every time he came, I wanted to. I was like I'll be real with you, like I was like his Pokemon, like, like he was Ash, I was Pikachu, like you know what I'm saying? Like everywhere he went, I went. When my Uncle Larry came, I'm a little kid. I would have been playing video games and all that. I didn't mention video games this entire time, if you notice, because there's more to life than just fucking video games, yo. I love video games, but there's more to life than games. Um, New York Mets World Series, hopefully. So, yo, this is our year. Anyways, so I'm I'm home. Uncle Larry's coming for the weekend. Grandpa told me like, cool. I'm all shit. Wherever he wants to go, I want to go. I always say that. I want to go pick him up, and sometimes he would bring like his family, like my cousins Larry, Leo, Lamont, or my aunt Jean. Like we all sometimes all of them would come through, which is really dope. You know, um, I love that. Shout out. That's another extension of family that I don't even mention about. Like I love my Uncle Larry and his family. That shit, the motherfuckers are. I was just texting my cousin Leo the other day. Yesterday I should hit him back. Anyway, uh, I get blown up on my phone for people that I just get people blow my phone up on a good level. People I love who always text me at some point, maybe not all the time, but like I catch text messages that I'm like, oh, it's this person. I'm like, yo, like I love that shit. Um, that's always the best. That's always the best. Then I have like your friends, like where like you're just actively always talking to them, regardless. Like you're just people that you would just constantly always talk to. Bill's one of them people. I'm always talking to Bill. Bill and I are always throwing out shit to each other, wrestling wise mostly. Um, but like that's how me and Bill get down. Like we all have our like things with our friends that we do that we talk about, right? That's just funny. Or we throw memes at each other, right? That's what happens when you get older. When you get older, you just throw fucking memes at your friends and see if they laugh. It's pretty much all it really is become. This is our generation, y'all. Um, but yeah, anyway, I thought my Uncle Larry was awesome, man. And then like he just chilling with him was fun. Just chilling with my Uncle Larry was fun. He's the reason why I saw Blade. He's the reason why Blade is my favorite movie of all time. My favorite movie of all time is Blade. I love that fucking movie. That movie is like everything to me, that fucking movie. That movie, I remember going to see that movie for the first time with my Uncle Larry. And I remember walking out of that movie theater like, I can't believe what I just saw. I remember like, I forgot how old I was when Blade came out, but I remember when it came out, I was just like, oh shit. I wasn't like I was driving my Uncle Larry around. It's not like at one point I became his chauffeur. Yo, Blade is my shit, bro. I have Blade's sword right back there. Like my boys bought me Blade's sword. I got it right back there underneath my TV. My Blade sword. Like Blade is my favorite fucking thing of all time, bro. I love Blade. Like that's my shit. Anyway, but it's not just that. Like Uncle Larry was just a cool ass dude, and he passed away, COVID, and that sucked. I wanted to mention that because I want to talk about Uncle Larry for a second because I fucking loved my Uncle Larry, and I wish he was still here with me. And I think there's one of the other people I want to talk about who are gone. Um, he was just the fucking man. I remember when the cop shot him, and he was like, "Oh, motherfucker, you don't lost your mind." It's like, "Fuck you doing? You shooting at me for dumbass?" I fucking love Blade. Um, God, oh man, I fucking love Wesley Snipes. Anyway, I can go into the whole fucking. I just think about how dope Blade was, Like Blade was so dope. Like, oh man, dopest shit ever. Huge comic book nerd, by the way. I'm more of a comic book nerd than a fucking video game nerd, which is interesting to say the least because my comic side is so much more like not as diverse. My gaming side is super diverse, but my comics, it's like I fucking love. I've always loved comics growing up. That was my shit. Always been my shit was comics. Superheroes and villains and the whole shit. Like I got down. We went to conventions. We did the whole. I did the whole thing. Like I did everything when it came to comics when I was growing up. You know, um, I did all that shit. Huge wrestling fan. Oh my god, let's talk about that. Before we get into like sad shit, my grandparents loved wrestling. That's one of those things that my grandparents, I in many ways think that it's one of those things that my grandparents always connected on. And that's why it sucks that Vince McMahon's a piece of shit. Because that man's my hero. Like ultimately, right? But like my true hero was Vince McMahon, but he fucked it all up. But yeah, my grandparents loved wrestling. And it was WWE. It's W. I forget. We're from Connecticut, so if we were, I said this before on stream, but if we still had territories, I'd still be if I would still be a WWE guy. If we still had territories, I would still be a WWWWF guy. Whatever. So that's always going to be our territory forever and always. Um, which is kind of crazy to think, right? Like that's our territory. Like I'm from Connecticut. Like the fucking headquarters is in Connecticut. Like I know MSG is the home place of the WWE in many ways as far as arena, but the fucking home base is right there in Greenwich. But we would watch wrestling a lot growing up. I mean, I always watched wrestling growing up. Like I don't want to get into it because that becomes a whole thing, but I just know this. I watched a lot of wrestling with my grandparents and I know a lot of shit. We watched all wrestling, but that was a big thing. And very much so like I would have friends come over because they knew that I was a friend, I was into wrestling, but my grandparents being into wrestling, I thought they like everybody thinks was the coolest shit because my grandparents was like into wrestling, right? Like they were like they knew it was fake, but they always acted like it was real, which always made it fucking cool. Like my grandparents always acted like that shit was real. They knew it was fake because my grandparents would always talk about how it was fake, but they always would be into it. Like they hated heels and they loved babyface. And my grandparents like embodied the purest form of what like the fan. Like they were hook, line, and sinker. So that's why, like, when I think about it, like, I know what my grandparents would like, what my grandparents would. I'm like, man, I wish they were still here. Because, like, this is the wrestling my grandparents kind of wanted, the way that we have it now. I know people complain about how it is, and people say backlash sucked, but we're not doing that right now, right? Um, but ultimately, yeah. So back on my story, my mom, my mom tried to keep jobs, but she couldn't. She couldn't keep a job. Um, she was very lonely. My mother was a very lonely person, and she really tried to find love. My mother wanted to be loved more than anything else. And some people want to be like, "Damn, how you know all this stuff?" Because I've read it. My mother's written it. I have it. I have her notes. I know the things that she would think about because she wrote it down, and I have it. So anything I'm saying, it comes from her. She couldn't hold a job because she never found a purpose in her life. She never found like a higher purpose for whatever it is. Whatever you do, you got to believe in what you do, right? And if you don't believe in what you do, please try to do something that you believe in what you do. Like seriously, at least believe in it. Like for me, like right now, like I'm a data analyst. I believe that data is so important in this whole world that we live in. We live in a data driven world, and I'm obsessed with data, analytics, and all of that stuff. My love for analytics came from sports. The reason why I do medical billing analytics and try to make sure that federal qualified health centers, the patients are getting paid, I mean, sorry, the payers are getting paid correctly, um, because I believe in data and actionable data and, you know, having patients not have to deal with like AR because their insurance did not pay correctly or there was I don't want to get I'm literally not going to get into this right now. It's my job and I'm going to be doing this net tomorrow. Um, but again, like I'm passionate about what I do. I'm passionate in data, passionate in finding things and talking about this industry that I work for because I'm passionate about it. I really am. Like, and I found I found a purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if I don't stay with this and with this company doing this thing, and still at the end of the day, I am about data. I care about that. I care so much about why things are, and that could be written down, and you can learn a language of it. It's a beautiful thing. I deal with numbers all day, but I'm actually glad I deal with numbers all day. You know, all the stuff that you learned in school, and you're like, you'll never use it in your real life. I use it every day. I do all this shit every day. I do all this shit. Oh my god. Um, it drives me fucking insane, but I love it. I fucking love it. Again, I found my thing. I'm passionate about this thing, and it sucks that my mom's not here to see this. She I'm gonna get into it. I think it's time. We're just gonna fast forward a little bit. So went to school at Books Hill. Met a lot of awesome friends. Shout out to Joseph Gordon. Ooh, that's somebody from my past. Nobody really, I mean, people know that, but anyone who went to Bucks Hill, I've been looking for you, Joseph, my entire life. Where are you, bro? Where are you, bro? I've been looking for you, bro. Where the fuck are you? I hope you're still out there. I would look for my boy Joseph Gordon, Joey Gordon, KC Gordon, um, JC Gordon, actually. Dude, he was an awesome kid. Just never saw him again. Family moved, and then I look him up I look to see if I can find him on Facebook. I can't find him. I can't find him. I know his face. I would know his face at 42. Hopefully one day I can find you again, bro. We can link up. That was one of my boys too, growing up. At least when I was going to Bucks Hill. Shout out to people from North End Middle School. North End Middle School was dope. We did. I tried doing a lot of things. Like I played baseball when I was younger. I did a lot of like. I tried to stay active, but I was mostly like chilling with friends and stuff. Run around. I was like a skinny kid running around and having fun. I did a lot of having fun. Um, just a lot of just cool shit that I would do with family. I played a lot of video games, as you probably might know this by now, but I've been a gamer for since my uncle. I've been a ga- I've been a gamer since my mom had me play Microsoft Flight Simulator at the mall at the museum. I'm sorry, the museum at the library when I was a kid. I remember I was 4 years old. I thought it was fucking awesome, and like I wanted to own it. And then my Uncle Rudy, who this is where me game. This is all this shit. It's just because my Uncle Rudy too. Um, he gave me my first NES Christmas 1988, I believe, and it just that's it. From there on, again, played every. I have actively gamed since the moment I got that NES. I play. I'll go over it so people when they see me, systems I've owned. No BS. People can verify. NES, SNES. I didn't own a PS1 at first. I owned the N64. I owned the Sega Genesis, a Sega CD. Um, I went N64, but me and Isaiah we would borrow each other's N64 and PS1, so we would go back and forth on both. You know, and then I eventually got a PS1, got a PS2, got a GameCube, then got an Xbox. I actually was an Xbox hater at first. I was like, Halo looks cool, but I'm like, I was into what I was into. And I had lulls where like I was playing, and then there's times where I wasn't playing really, but I was still playing. Like I always had like a console. Like that was always my thing. I always made sure when I got money, I put that shit towards it. That was like my thing. I love gaming. Um, Play PC obviously when I was younger. My mom was trying to get be really good at PC. Mom was a really good typer, by the way. I'm probably a better typer than her now. Um, I'm pretty sure I'm a better typer than my mom now, but she was a really good typer back in the day. I'm a very fast typing. Um, it is what it is. I'm a very fast typer. I learned that shit over time, and I became an excellent typer. Listen, I'm very schooled. I'm very learned. So I had a lot of time typing. Um, a lot of papers, a lot of papers, a lot of papers, a lot of fucking papers, a lot of fucking papers. Anyway, oh my god. Uh, but yeah, so I've been a gamer for forever. I just wanted to just say like I actively been into it. I've been into every genre. I love everything. I love I love platformers. I love fighting games. I love RPGs. I love action games. I love adventure games. I love puzzle games. I think flight sim games are awesome. I think driving sim games are fucking awesome. I love immersive sims like you wouldn't fucking believe. Uh, I'm, I love all facets of gaming too, from the big budget to the indie. I love gaming in many different ways, and I think that it's the most beautiful art form in the entire fucking world. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I really do. And I do think like this is why I do this because I want to show this to the world. I want to show people like my love to the world. And I think that it's here for it being like a piece of art. It's important. And it's just excellent. Like the freedom of expression, and it's not just having dumb fun. It's so much more than just pleasure sensors in the brain. There's so many things about it, and I'm very grateful for gaming because gaming has been a crutch. So is Dragon Ball um, in my life for really hard times. So I'm thankful for it, and I think that also I've I've matured as a gamer. I think that there are certain things that I won't play to the same effect that I would before. It was just interesting because I still have a lot of games, but there's a lot of games and things that I like that come out and become overwhelmed. Anyway, it's like too many games. So, which is crazy. There's too many games. Anyway, it's like if you think about it, right? Like if gaming ended today, we're done. We still have more than enough games for like 7 lifetimes. Like if gaming ended today and we were no longer making anything else, everything is backlog. Dude, lifetimes, lifetimes. There's so much shit. That's why it's like, yo, don't play, and that's why I have the mentality of like, if I don't like a game in an hour, I'm not playing it anymore because there is so much shit that is out. There's so many amazing games by some amazing developers around the world that like if I don't like this, why am I going to waste my time till I would eventually like this when I can play this and know I'm going to love this? All we have is time. Nothing else matters. The time, like, it doesn't matter how much money you make, it doesn't matter how much, none of that shit matters. Nothing. The only thing that matters is time. That's why don't waste it. And it's weird coming from a gamer, but I wanted to let people know like I've lived a life. And I will say I lived a good life for a long time. And I still right now I live a good life. I do think right now I live a very good life. Um, and if I'm going to be honest with you, this should be the best of my life, is what I'm looking right now. And I think in many ways it is. I just deal with a lot of shit from my past, and I deal with a lot of other shit. Um, but outside of that, outside of me, right? Like this is the best part of my life. I have a wife, a beautiful wife, and a beautiful child at home, working in the job that I feel like I'm someone, and I'm doing a good thing in what I'm doing for the betterment of people, and it's up to me to be as good as I can to help those people and help my employer, obviously. Um, but ultimately, it's not about me, and I think that makes going into work feel really good. So I have to say that, and I think the beginning of my life was, outside of really weird circumstances, I think I made, the best of it, and I think the people that were in my life were good-hearted people at the end of the day. My grandparents were good-hearted people. My grandparents were good-hearted people, really good people. And I think if it wasn't for my grandparents, I think I would be in a fucked up place right now. Just being honest. Like my grandparents are my angels. When you're growing up, you like doing stupid shit, you get into fights, and like we would do that shit. Like we would go into like I was yeah, I'm okay. Um, I didn't drink until I was older. I was a goody two shoes kid. I promise. Even to the point when I was in my 20s and my grandparents were we lived together when I was in my 20s. I did not keep alcohol in the house. I did not. I was not much of, I've never been that much of a drinker. Like I drink, but like socially. You know what I mean? Like I love me a good beer. I love me some good like whiskey. I mean, don't get it twisted. Like I come from a family of drinkers, you know what I'm saying? Like Um, I love rum. Like I love drinks, but I'm no like drink. You feel me? Like I don't drink at home. I don't do that shit. I don't do that shit. I don't do that shit. I might smoke weed. Um, being honest. Um, but seriously, I was a good kid growing up, and I did it mostly because I wanted my mom to, and this is being real. I wanted my mom to be proud of me. You know what I'm saying? Like I want my mom to um hug me. My mom was very rough around the edges. Like I've said, I'm not going to go into other things, but she was rough around the edges, and I wanted my mom to be proud of me. And it's easy for me to talk about my mom. It's hard for me to talk about my grandparents because what happened, my mom, all right, I'll talk about it. Going to high school, I want to move on. I want to move on and talk about everything else. I don't want to talk about just this thing, but it's Mother's Day, so it's coming to it. So I don't know how I'm going to word this. I've said it previously. I said this many times. I've said what I'm about to tell you right now, y'all. Chat many times to many people because it's my story. But I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to say it here. So my mom, I know how to do this. All these when I'm trying to find love, she found who she probably thought was a good companion. And I'm not going to say names. I'm not going to say anything. But she was with this guy. My mom had a habit of being in here, being at Greystone Road, and then not being at Greystone Road. And I would be there with my grandparents. And then she would come back to Greystone Road. And she would leave again and go to Greystone Road. She would leave to go somewhere else. And I always felt like I was trying to get my mom's attention so she could stay in my life. That's why I tried being a good kid. I might have been really talkative, but I always had to get the gift of gab. I always been friendly. Always been really friendly. Alvin does mean friend to all. So I was always talkative, and I was I'm considered friendly. So in my superlatives, I was the most friendly. The friendly. I was voted friendliest. So not just me, but two people who are dead. Oh my God! Didn't even think about that. Wow. Wow. Man. Shout out to Sarah Lee Davis. May you rest in peace. Shout out to Marcus Allen, who him and I we tied on the guy's side. May you rest in peace, Marcus. Um, wow. I did not realize I am the last man standing. Oh, in many ways I am that, right? So that's crazy. I did not even think of it that way until just now. But anyways, my mom, she's seeing this guy, gets serious. Time I'm heavily involved in like the Catholic Church, doing stuff and going to conferences and the whole thing. Trying to be a good kid, right? So I stopped doing all that so I can go with my mom to church. I was a church kid growing up, y'all. I'm just keeping it fucking real with you. So I was a church kid who was just cool with everybody. I was a rebellious church kid because See how I am? This is crazy ass shit. I wasn't really rebellious, but I was you know, I would always listen to like rap music and like again, there was always different sides to me. Like I felt like I didn't have to be this one way. You know what I'm saying? Like there was always multiple sides to me and shit growing up. Like yeah, I would go to church and all that, but I would also act up doing some shit that I shouldn't be fucking doing. Um anyway, so I actively tried to save my mom. And as a guy who go, going to church, I want to go to church with my mom. Like I want my mom to like pray, and I wanted my mother to be like my grandmother. If I'm being real, that's probably what the fuck I was doing. I was trying to have my mom be my grandmother, and it worked for a while, for many years. We went to St. Michael's, that was right by the house. She moved close by with the person she was with. So I always would see my mom. She wasn't really living, she was living with him. So I would actively go to their place and then go back to my grandparents, you know, um, because my room was there and all that. I remember going to his place, their place, and me and him would play my favorite basketball game to this day, NBA Shootout, 97. That was my game. Anyway, I fucking love that fucking game. Is it 97? I think it's 97. I could be completely wrong. Hold on. Now, just for public record, I gotta look this up. Hold on. Let me see. Yeah, it was 97. 97. 97. 97 is a shit. Fucking love that game. I actually own that game still. I didn't own it until several years later. Anyway, so they broke up. It wasn't pretty. My mom hit, man. My mom don't give a fuck who you are. She'll hit you. She'll hit you, man, woman, child, family pet. My mom don't give a fuck. She will whoop your ass, slap you up. That's what mom will say, slap you up. Anyway, so it didn't work out. She came back to live with my grandparents. And one day on June 7th, 2000, she went on a ride with a friend, and she never came home. My mother has been a missing person since June 7th, 2000. That's why I say her name Bernadine Paul, which is why I say my name Alvin Cologne, Alvin Cecil Cologne. Because in the event that she is still out there, which I don't believe, she can get a hold of me. If anybody knows anything, they can Google her fucking name. I'm not lying. This is a true story, my friends. So she was missing. Um, everything that came with that, right? I'm not gonna go into all that. I'm not gonna go into the story. Do I know the story? I can break it down. This is just me telling you. I'm not going into every detail. I could be here for hours, maybe days about everything. I'm just doing an introduction and I'm telling my story. And it's about my mom. And it's about everything to do with that. But not everything. There's just certain things I won't say. At least not here. Um What do you think happened to your mom? I think she was murdered. I think it was foul play. I think I know who did it. I think I know who's involved. I think I know how it happened. And I think I know I will never find my mom's body. When I think about this, I don't cry no more. I don't cry. I get angry. I'm going to tell you why I get angry. Because the most beautiful girl in the world is in a bedroom right next to me. This is on my wall, right? That's me, and that's my daughter. Huge Dragon Ball fan. Huge Dragon Ball fan. So, um, the irony of this picture is beyond. And I'll tell you why. And the irony is crazy. So, she'll never get to chill with her abuela. My mother would never find true redemption. She might have gotten it through me, but she was robbed of that in her own life. Whoever is responsible, and this goes beyond me, because now I'm at the point where I'm like, yo, fuck me. I ain't nobody special. I put grandparents. I never got to know in life. My wife said this to me today. She's like, well, they know now. And I said, yeah, but they didn't know in life when that shit fucking mattered. That's why I don't believe in karma, man. Like, it's fucked up. And I can spit you a lot of bullshit and say that I've been healed from this. In many ways, I have. I have. But, man, ever so often I get real pissed off. And before I do something crazy, I gotta let it out some way, somehow. This is me doing it. Man, that sucks, right? Man, let me tell you something. We did a lot. We did a lot. We did a lot of search parties. We did a lot of pictures. We know a lot of people. There's a lot of eyes. Nothing. Like, nothing. The only thing we know is that she took out $30 from a Webster bank. That's it. That's all we know. There's more into the story I'm not getting into. Like she went like why did she leave and went out with a friend and is her friend still here? Yes. The answer is yes, her friend's still here. My mother asked to be dropped off. And that's where that part of the story ends. And then all we know from there, it was $30 and that was it. I don't want to bring down anybody, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't want this to be like this super sad thing. Man, I've been talking for 2 hours. I want just people to know like the only thing you have in this world is time. Time to get your shit together and time to spend with your family and loved ones. That's it. That's it. These two things. That's it. It's the only time you have. Those are the only two things. Like you want to make a mark on the world. You want to be forever known. Be in a history book, or you have huge aspirations. You want to do something in your life. That's getting your shit together. You want to be known for this, and then you're spending time with the ones that matter. And I'll tell you right now, the time you spend with the people that you love is more important than anything else, and any other piece of time that you have. It's important to have time for those things. Those are most important. You have to also have time for yourself. Yourself. Time to be in your own mind. Listen, you're a living, breathing human being. The weight of that is crazy. The fact that we're just existing, the fact that this is a thing, the fact that we know we're alive and we're all in each other's lives. But what does that even mean? All you know is that there's a time from when you were here and there's a time when you're not here. And that's not that long, especially in the grand scheme of things. So it's so important to take in value. I would say value time. Don't spend too much time in your head like me. For real. Don't spend too much time in your head like I do. Because I get in my own way a lot of the time. I get in my own way. I try my fucking best. But I do dumbass shit all the time. And I don't mean that in the sense of like bad or nefarious things. It's just, you're human. You make dumbass mistakes and you have to ask for forgiveness. You know how many times I say, I'm sorry, babe. I I know wifey will one day see this. Babe, I'm sorry. I'm a pain in the ass. And I know it's a joke, but it's not funny. I hate being a pain in the ass sometimes. Um, Living with me is not easy, and I understand that. So I know, like, she'll say to herself, she'll say to other people, "I was a really good guy to live with," and da 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 da. Like, I love him, this and this and this and this, But like, I miss the mark sometimes. Um, you try to be well and good in everything you do in life, and you know, sometimes you miss the mark. And I'm not the best dad. I try to be, but doesn't mean I am. My daughter is not daddy's little girl. Am I salty about that? A little. know my daughter loves me. I'm her protector, and my daughter loves to have fun with me and play. My daughter loves to spend time with me and have a good time. But she wants to be like her mom, and that's fine. We both think alike. She's always team mommy, and that's okay that she's team mommy. I I actually prefer it that way because I'm team mommy too, so I get it. Um, I moved to I moved to Florida. There's so much that happened in between then and now, but I moved to Florida. I'm not talking about girlfriends or nothing like that. Like, just so y'all know, I ain't getting into all that stuff. I ain't talking about relationships and hookups and blah, blah. This ain't that type of rodeo, bro. We ain't doing that here. Um, but I will say, I moved to Florida, stayed with my cousin Denise. This was back in 2002. Um, Man, the reason why I'm bird kicker is 'cause I kicked the bird. I mean, I kicked the bird in downtown Disney with my cousin Lewis. Shout out to my cousin Lewis. The motherfucker ate my Big Mac, so I kicked that motherfucker when he came back. Seagull or an egret, I don't even fucking remember. Anyway, grandparents moved down, sold their house. They sold the house on Greystone, moved to Florida, just so we can move back to Connecticut because my grandmother had a heart attack. My uncle wanted us to move back up there, wanted us to be close. Had a lot of pressure on me when I was in Florida the first time. All right, let's move back to Connecticut. All my friends were here. All my friends were there. Um, we moved back to Connecticut, and then fast forward a bunch of stuff: house parties and drinking and wilding out and acting a fool with my in my 20s. I I had a lot of fun in my fucking 20s. Maybe I should have spent more time with my studies. Granted, I did study a lot. Um, maybe I had no direction, true direction. No one really truly gave me direction, so I just tried doing what I needed to do. Man, I wish I could fucking go back and talk to old me. Um, I would have told him what to do. You gotta do this, and this. You'll be set. But you'll be better than me. Maybe. Just so you know. You're way better than me. Like, here's the head start, bro. You're good. Here's a cheat code. You know, I would have told Oatmeal the cheat code if I went back. But I went back to Connecticut, got my bachelor's, taking care of my grandparents. My grandmother had a heart attack when she was down here. So before we moved to before we moved on, no, when we moved down, when we were in Florida in the condo, my grandmother had a heart attack. I stopped life. Took care of my grandmother. I don't remember if it happened before the move or after the move. Yeah, my grandfather had a heart attack. I did all the driving. Around that point, my grandmother didn't drive no more. I actively took care of my grandparents in many ways, from like 100%, from like 21 till 21 till 40, 39 actively took care of them. Like I was there for them, but they were still doing their thing when I moved. Cause I moved first, and then I don't want to bore y'all. I've been going in for a while, but I don't want to bore nobody. Um, just long story short, met wifey, had a kid. Um, my grandfather's health was fading for a few years before that happened. I get married. 3 days later, my grandfather passes away, which sucked. Which sucked. My grandfather knew my grandmother had Alzheimer's before anybody else. He knew, just didn't know how to express it. And he always said stuff. My grandfather knew a lot of stuff, but he didn't know how to explain himself with certain things. He was a wordsman, but he he didn't have all the words, if that makes sense. He had a lot of words, but he didn't have all the words. And it's interesting that he knew that my grandmother was she had problems before she became diagnosed. Not too long after my grandfather passed, and she gets diagnosed with dementia, and that becomes a thing. Oh man, anybody who has family, mother, father, sister, brother, someone you love, a spouse, good friend, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Any one of you who have had someone in your life with dementia, I'm sorry. It's probably the worst way to die. It's probably the worst one. My grandmother was a good person. My grandmother was a loving person. She fed people. She listened to people. She would sit down and really get to know somebody. She'd give them things if they needed money, food, clothes. My grandmother was the same. My grandfather too. My grandmother was a saint. She's my mom. She was my mom. And the fact that she lived to the remainder of her days, probably repeating the same day over and over and over and over again, that my mom disappeared or that she never had the resolution that she should have had, makes me question everything I've ever believed in my life. real talk, I saw it kill her. I saw the whole thing happen, and I couldn't help and have it go away. I was powerless, and I saw her wither away over the next 9 years, 10 years, 9 years, 8 years, 8 to 9 years. That sucks. Not really sucks. And she never got the resolution. That's why when people say, "Oh, there's no God," I'm like, you know what? Maybe you're right. They say in life, like, "Oh," and on top of that, like, I had cancer. Like, dude, I had cancer. I took care of my grandmother. And it's probably the biggest honor I ever had in my life to this day is outside of being Lisa Cologne's husband and being Joy Cologne's father. Outside of those two things, I spent the last hours of my grandparents' lives with them. I My grandfather died on Father's Day. I held his hand. I saw the life leave his body, and it happened. And it was me and my grandmother, and we were there, and I held him in my arms. He died in my arms. My grandmother, she lay in there for like 10 days, maybe less, 5, 6 days, maybe, no, I would say around 10, maybe, I think, if I think about it right. Maybe it was set, I don't remember. Between 7 and 10 days, I was by her side, and I barely left it. I stayed in that hospital right next. I stayed in that hospital chair right next to her. I didn't like to leave her sight unless someone else was there. I made sure she was never alone. I had to get out. I remember feeling so guilty when I left. Oh my god. There's so much detail that I'm not going to talk about because I don't want to go there in any way. Again, I'm being respectful. And she died in my arms as well. Actually, she didn't die in my arms. I remember I was holding her hand and I fell asleep. I was holding her hand and I knew that the day that she was going to die because you heard the death rattle. Held her hand, fell asleep, woke up probably her last 5 minutes. I stayed with her. I held her hand. I talked to her. Same way I talked to my grandfather. I had music. I had a picture of my mom on her stomach. I was playing church music. died holding. I She died while I was holding her hand. Uh, yeah. I don't know what else to talk about. I just know that I took my grandfather's ashes, what was left, and what wasn't buried with my grandmother, and I put it in Megan's Bay in St. Thomas, grandfather's favorite beach. I did it with my cousin Kawasi because it had to get done. I was selfish, or it's not me being selfish. It needed to happen. I was the fucking person who did it, and took a weight off my shoulders when I did that. I put him home. My grandfather, my granddaddy. There's so many other things that happened in my life, but I'm not going to incriminate myself. I'm not going to. It's not that bad. I promise. I was just again. It's me doing dumb shit. Me doing real dumb shit. Like all time, I almost fight a girl. I mean, I almost whoop this girl. I almost fought whoop this girl's ass one time. Like, Alvin, you shouldn't talk about that. I'm like, listen, I was drunk. I was at my boy Antel's. It was a house party per usual. I almost started going to blows with some chick. Then I came to. And I was like, yo, my bad. Drinking sucks. But she was trying to come at me, and I was trying to come at her. It was about to be like a brawl between me and this chick. I'll never forget this shit. Oh, I apologized afterwards like 1,000 million times. Like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. That's not who I am. Like, I swear to God. Man, there's times where I had to get stopped from getting into super trouble. I started, I started fights with my boy Kaz in the club or in the bar, just popping off. Oh man, I had a lot of fun times with a lot of people. I love video games, y'all. I wanted to get into this real quick. That's what BirdKICKer is. It's just an expression of my love for video games with my life. If anybody wants to bring up stuff about life, let's do it. You want to have a talk? Let's do it. You need prayer? I'll pray for you. I'm not going to get into the fact that I got really religious after it. I'll say it real quick. I got really, really religious after when I had cancer. Super religious. My wife was. I was going to church too, but my wife, I looked at her like, wow, she's like, she's as Christian as I want to be, and that's a beautiful thing. And that she was hot, and no, she was a sweet person. She has the heart that I have, the heart that my grandparents had. And that's why I love Lisa Cologne as much as I do. I love her because she has the same heart of the people that raised me. Um, but yeah, I got real religious. Um, I lost a lot of friends. Lost a lot of friends. I think part of it, I did feel like I was better than people because I just like I don't want to say that. I didn't feel like I was better than people. I acted that way because I was really into I was super Pentecostal. Just so y'all know, I was like Pentecostal to the max. I was a little too Pentecostal, if you ask me. Um, and I scared friends away. And some other friends was like, "Yo, what the fuck?" Um, I lost friends during that time of my life. And not just lost friends, but like I lost time with people who mean the world to me. Not just friends, but family members, etc. And I feel like my wife and I both got out of that together. Like my wife and I, we have such a great relationship right now. Like I love my wife. Like my wife and I, we have such a great relationship now. It's interesting because there was a time when it was really bad. Now I'm not saying our marriage is perfect by any means, but I try. So does she. And at the end of the day, when it's just her and I by ourselves, we fucking have a great time together. My wife loves me. I know that. And that's a great feeling. And she knows that I love her, which is a great feeling. And my wife and I can give that to my daughter. And that's awesome. That's fucking awesome. Um, but yeah, I had cancer. That sucked. Scariest time of my life. I still can't believe I had cancer. Can't believe I survived. There were some nights where I had complications. Some people were there. They witnessed the complications I was having. Now that we're older, you can tell that I was going through complications. One night I could have sworn I was going to die because my health was really bad at that point. After surgery, after going through it, being at home, like that was a fight just to get better. Radiation sucks, but not just that, other things. Damn, I still can't believe I went through that shit. They say the words like they say things like what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Heck, I call bullshit. If you survive, awesome. If you don't survive, it's unfortunate. That's the reality. It doesn't make you stronger. It probably makes you worse in the long run. Because you have problems and fucking brain and fucking guilt. I have, I remember it came to realization like in the house that I grew up in, every key member of that house, outside of my Uncle Tony, because he didn't really live there that long, they're all dead. I have survivor's guilt in a motherfucker. I do. I have fucking survivor's guilt in a motherfucker. Oh man, yo, it is 12:44, and I've been on here for 2 hours and 30 minutes just talking about me. So let me talk to you real quick. Just close in as to what BirdKICKer is. I love video games. I think it's the most beautiful art form in the world. I really do. I have no idea what this is going to be. This is a shout out to Second Opinion Games. This is a shout out to when we first tried doing BirdKICKer. This is a shout out to Reginald. Shout out to the webcomic that never was, you know. But just a shout out to Second Opinion Games as well. So this goes out to Wes. This goes out to Ant and Bill. This goes out to everybody who was involved with Second Opinion. There's a lot of people who are involved with Second Opinion that I can talk about. I was no by no means the main guy. That was not me. I was not the main guy of Second Opinion Games. It all started with me me and Wes talking video games, and then me and Wes stopped talking about video games together. So like, that's why I kind of enjoyed still talking to Wes about video games right now because it's a great time. We're like not involved with each other in this case, and but we are in a way. So we'll go our separate ways in life, but yet we still communicate. Um, it all came down to like when we were doing. I mean, it kind of started for me personally um, when we were doing podcasts reviewing the episodes of Battlestar Galactica. That's how much of a nerd I am. Shout out to Battlestar Galactica. Um, Gary was there, Mark was there, and his wife Liz. I still can't believe Gary's dead, man. Um, that shit still fucks me up. That shit fucks me up. That someone that good is gone. Yeah, we're still here. Like what? Anyway, like he's like, anyway, I can go on and on. Um, but it all started there, and I don't know. I want to see how far this goes. My whole take is to be as open and honest with all of my fellow gamers out there as humanly possible. Honesty is important. Talking about life is important. Balance is important. Balancing your life is very important. I have known friends who gaming has ruined their life. Ruined people who I'm not friends with anymore because I do truly believe that part of their what was going on with them was their addiction to gaming to the point where it got in the way of their life. And if you're watching this, you know who I'm talking. You know I'm talking to you, dude. Can't believe you did what you did. And I'm sickened by that. And I'm not only sickened by that, but you ain't telling me none of this. And then you go to prison. Okay, I was just at your crib, and then like a month later you're in prison. Not even. I'm like, I was just there like a week ago, 2 weeks ago. Me and my cousin Brian was chilling with you, and nothing. And then you find out this through your family, and then I have to go back up to Connecticut and thank the good graces of Aunt, my boy Aunt. I love my friend Anthony. I love him to death. My best friend. I say the same thing about Isaiah and Dave. Best friend, best friend. But for real, he was there to help me get them comic books out of that fucking house. Now they're in his basement. Not just comics, but a whole bunch of shit. Um, but yeah, like, dude, what the fuck? Anyway, I digress. And gaming is just very important for me because of the art form that it is. And I just wanted to share it with y'all. I've been playing games forever. I've been playing hard games. I'm playing, I've played everything, almost everything. Now that I'm older, I can't play everything, but I almost played everything growing up. Anything worth playing. Thank God for Blockbuster Video. Blockbuster hooked the brother up. Save the boy. Save your boy. That was my Game Pass. That was my fuck Game Pass. Blockbuster Video was my fucking Game Pass, bitch. Um, it worked the same fucking way, but I had to beat that shit fast. I had to beat that shit real fast before that shit had to go back. At least some of these games on Game Pass have been there for a long time. Anyway, that's what this is. That's what BirdKICKer is. Bring gaming to everybody from my own unique way, and I hope to be a bigger voice in the community. Because there's not that many people that I feel like are real people. They always want to be something or someone that they're not. Nah, bro, you got me, 100% me. I wear my life like this right here. I don't give a fuck. And that's what BirdKICKer is. I'll be back on tomorrow night. I'll be back. Just playing games like normal. You're gonna get my normal self, not this somber self. Love your mother. Honor your mother. Cherish your mother. And if you don't have your mother, like me, I hope you're okay. And if you're not okay, that's okay. I love y'all. Jerome, whoever is watching, whoever's giving a damn about anything anyone who's been on for this long, congratulations. You actually dealt with listening to Alvin Cologne for 2 hours and 37 minutes of your life. Um, 2 hours and 42 minutes if you were on Twitch. I wish y'all the best. Happy Mother's Day.